it, and if there is, it's extremely minimal, so we should get away with it. So I'm just going to analyze forward to get a track. That seems to be tracking nicely. So we've got that track now. What I'm going to do is go layer, new, null object. I'm just going to drag it down actually on top of my background plate, and I'm going to edit target, making sure that the null object is selected. Go OK, and then I'm going to just give myself a bit of room here, and I'm going to apply in the X and Y and go OK. So now I have a null object that's tracked to the movement of the camera via a target track in the footage. But I want to put a lens flare over here where the sun is, and this is the way I'll do it. So with the null object, I'm just going to bring up the transform controls here, and the anchor point I'm going to animate or move using the two values here. I'm going to move it until it's perfectly in line with that sun. So I'll slide in here a little bit, make sure it's nice and accurate. So that's pretty close on the X. It's looking pretty good, and then on the Y we'll just bring it up, maybe a little bit less on the X, and that looks good. Now you're probably wondering, well, now all we need to do is pass that information to a lens flare, but the problem is that the anchor point is a value minus or plus from the position point, and we can't just pass that to the position of the lens flare. But what we can do is a little bit of script, and it's not too difficult. What I'll do first is set up our lens flare. I'm just going to go for a new adjustment layer. We'll just rename it flare, and I'm going to put a lens flare on it just to generate lens flare, and I'm just going to move this over so that we can get a rough idea of how it's going to look, and that's working okay. So the center of the lens flare, what I'm going to do is alt click on flare center, and that's going to bring up a little bit of script over here, and I'm going to type in what, because it's only a 2D position, two-dimensional position, X and Y, it's looking for an X and Y value, and so it's just two values to work out where this flare